Hey guys, how's it going? I hope all of you are doing good. It was good to see you guys in the chat, and pardon me for being a few minutes late, but I've had a really busy and stressful day, and I just ate half a plate of food and threw the rest of it in the fridge for afterwards. So, been one of those days, one of those weeks, really. But I'm really glad to see all of you guys here. I hope you're having a good time, and I want to thank all of you who help support this channel and keep it physically operational. So thank you so much to all the channel supporters, those of you who leave generous super chats in these streams, people who support on Patreon, and locals. Locals is a censorship-free site where I post tons of deals that have helped you guys save a ton of money since I've been doing it. A lot of you guys have said you look forward to it, and you found some stuff that's helped you out quite a bit. It's actually a way you can support the channel totally free over there. I also do bonus videos and weekly live streams where I touch guns. And there's some stuff that I just can't do here. And you guys can go read the YouTube terms of service yourself, but you absolutely can't touch guns live. Now, some people might do it, and if they get by with it, that's fine with me. I mean, I don't care. I don't work for YouTube. But this channel is not going to get by with anything like that, trust me. I also can't promote places that sell guns or ammo or anything like that, which is also in YouTube's terms. But I am going to reference the general climate tonight. And if you guys want to see some of the actual awesome deals, I've been posting quite a few over on Locals because I can do that there because it's a different site and it doesn't have all of the different censorship and terms and conditions and rules against guns that YouTube has. But this is where everybody wants to be, or the vast majority. So I'm still happy to be here. It's just for me to stay on this platform and talk about the stuff that I do. There's lots of stuff that I can't talk about and I can't do here. But what I can say is, let's go, Brandon, the former vice president. A lot of you guys are talking about elections and stuff going on right now in your states and in the United States. I call him the former vice president. Why? Well, because he is the former vice president. Not only that, but the most popular and the most fortified of all time. They said he could never win. They said he could win. People said many things, right? And he's occupying the White House as we speak, like kind of, sort of, maybe physically, mentally. Where am I? What's going on? I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize troops and national pressure. Eight bullet mag clip capacity, such and such. I mean, this is crazy. And if you're thinking some of these people are sick, it's because they are, actually. And we've had a very crazy last 2 years, if you guys think about it, when it comes to politics. Now, I can already hear somebody right now. Came for the guns, left for the politics. Bye, I don't need you. You're clogging up space here. I think most of you guys get it, though, by now. You're not going to have any more guns if you just keep putting your head in the sand and try to pretend that it's not a political issue. Because I'll be the first to say, and I've said this many times, but I think I need to say it again. No, there shouldn't be any politics involved in natural, God-given rights that are endowed by your creator. These are laws of nature and of nature's God. And they do supersede any government, including this current United States government or whatever country it currently is at the moment, because I'm not quite sure sometimes anymore. But the government can sit there and be a hurdle, and they can get in the way of the exercise of your natural rights. And they're definitely doing that, and they've been doing that for a long time. And how long are they going to keep doing it? Well, that's actually one of the easiest answers ever. They're going to do it as long as we let them, because these are evil people. And there's a lot of good people out there that just don't really have the time, don't really want to think about it, don't really want to talk about it. I've even heard people that claim to be smart that are rationalizing reasons why they should never vote. I'm not going to quite understand everybody's logic, but I'm going to speak my mind on here because that's what I do. Because this is my channel and my live stream. But you can't have guns, or you're not going to have them much longer with zero politics, because good people too often sit back and say, just leave me alone. Amen to that. I want to be left alone too. I don't want to have to sit here and talk about this is what they're banning next. If these elections don't go a certain way, we're going to lose more. But even if they go the way we want them to, we're still going to lose some. It's not a good situation, and it does suck. But evil always has prevailed. and currently is right now, and like literally provably always will prevail when good men do nothing. And we've had good times in this country, clearly. And here's the problem with that. And this is just the vicious circle of life, of society, of people, of nations, of our republic. It's this circle, and it just keeps going and going and going. And you can look at the different segments of the circle you may be on at any time. But here's what I mean by that. If you have good times, it creates weak men because people take things for granted. And they say, well, I already have this. I already have guns. I already have this. I can buy that. I can freely exercise my rights. That's what people thought when this grand experiment on self-government was formed. Although there were people actually warning the American people at that time. Think of Thomas Jefferson. 1787, 1788. The ink wasn't even dry yet on the Constitution. He was traveling abroad. This is the famous Tree of Liberty letter, where he said he couldn't even believe it, that over 10 years had passed and there had not been but one rebellion. You remember that? And he literally said, in the most frank, uncertain circumstances, Thomas Jefferson said, let them take arms. He had already seen out of this beautiful thing, and a republic of the people, by the people, for the people is a beautiful thing. A government that recognizes that we're all endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, and not limited to, but among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that a government would be instituted among men. And Thomas Jefferson wrote those words when he was a young man, right? And a very short time after that, he was already talking about how much it was slipping, but people were still doing good at that time. And they still had almost infinitely more liberty than they did under the King of England. And they said, that's okay. Just put their head in the sand, keep going. And we've actually literally been doing that for a couple hundred years, sans the Civil War, which is interesting because it was half Civil War. I get that's what it was called. And there certainly was a divide among much of the American people. But history actually doesn't reflect what really happened in the American Civil War properly either. And I'm not a connoisseur and I'm not an expert, so I'm not going to expound on it too much here tonight. But the Civil War was a lot more complicated than what people would like to tell you it was. And in a lot of ways, and here's how I look at it, again, not being an expert, but I look at that as maybe an attempted Revolutionary War Part 2. But other than that, not a lot's been going on since then. It says that to preserve these rights, governments are instituted among men. Men, that would be you guys. Good men, because evil's going to prevail when good men do nothing, and you guys need to start doing something. We're in the middle of a civil war right now. A cultural civil war, a political civil war. People that want America and want it to be great again. I'm not talking about Donald Trump right now. Make America great again has become much bigger than just any one person. And I think you guys realize that. There's people that want to continue to make America great. They want it to be great again. They want it to be a republic if you can keep it. And then there's people that hate the republic, that hate the experiment on self-governance. They want to be controlled. They want to be under the thumb of despots and tyrants. And this is actually nothing new. It's been this way actually since the beginning of civilizations. If you go back and look, civilizations rise and they fall. And usually what they have in common is people get content. People get lazy. People forget actual true knowledge, and they forget things that are good, and they stop dwelling on things that are good. And they start indulging in evil. They start indulging in sloth. They start indulging in complacency. Notice when it said that governments are instituted among men, it doesn't say ostriches. So when you put your head in the sand and act like an ostrich and go, la, 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 I just want to talk about guns and everything's going to be okay. Thomas Jefferson ever said the government would be instituted among an ostrich, did he? No, of course not. He was a lot smarter than that. Did it say it would be instituted among zombies? No, I actually can't find the word zombie anywhere on here either. And zombie means many things. You think of the zombie apocalypse, and there's been shows and movies about it. And a lot of you guys like those, and they're fun to watch. But at the same time, I see so many zombies walking among us right now. Now, obviously, we see people that are anti-gun and anti-freedom and anti-liberty and anti-rights, because the Second Amendment is a natural right endowed by your Creator. And it's put there not for if, but for when they're going to come for all of the rest. The free exercise thereof, anyways. And there's lots of zombies out there that just want to be ruled over, that somehow find comfort on their knees, and they're more comfortable with the evil that they don't know than the potentially scary and dangerous freedom that they've not yet been able to experience. And it's somehow scary for people sometimes to step out because they see a hint of light and they think it might hurt their eyes. It might burn them. Well, it might. Anything could happen. You could sit there and be a lazy piece of crap in life and watch your country crumble and walk out in the street and get hit by a Greyhound bus. You could also be somebody who's just clawing and fighting to change this culture war and to win this civil war that we're already in right now. And you could still get hit by a Greyhound bus. I get it. There's always the, but what if? But hold on. I know. Some people like to dwell on the minutia. Maybe because that's all they're capable of. Maybe that's because that's what they feel most comfortable in. But I am going to talk about whether it's a buyer's market for guns and ammo tonight. And it actually ties in with exactly what I've been talking about. These aren't like mutually exclusive points. No, this is all the same thing. It all ties in together. We've had a crazy 2 years where people realize that when seconds matter, cops were only minutes away. That used to be the old MO, and one that I abided by for a long time. Until we saw the mostly peaceful protests. Do you guys remember those? Don't forget those when you're at the polls. If you're talking to your neighbors and they're not quite sure, if they remind them of that. Remind them of the living hell that this country's been through in the last couple of years. And how we've been slowly losing the free exercise of rights for 240 years. But then in the last 2 years, they put us under their thumb and have done more in the last 2 years than probably the 200 preceding years combined. Just try to remember a time if you can. Because I know it's tough because they say this is the new normal. You'll have nothing and you'll be happy. When they say that, they're not just talking about material things, because that's not what really makes people happy. When they say you have nothing, they want you to have no sense of hope. They want you to have no sense of unity. They don't want Americans to have a rallying cry that they can rally around. They don't want you to have a sense of identity, a sense of worth. See, all they do is what's called identity politics, but here's the oxymoron about all of it. These fake identity politics, none of us real people actually care about those. Are you an American or aren't you an American? Do you love the American dream? Do you love this document, the Declaration of Independence? Do you love the Bill of Rights? Or don't you? And all these ways that they try to give people all these identities to make us constantly fight with each other all the time have nothing to do at all with a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That doesn't care about gender or color or age or religion. It doesn't care about any of that, actually. But while they're still too busy trying to get us to fight over that, they're making us lose our identity of what it means to be an American. What it means to always strive to be free. Can you ever truly be free? Probably not. I'm not like some willful idiot that just always wants to, look at this utopia. No. But the founding fathers never thought that it was going to be easy. They thought that it was going to be a constant work. Because if they thought that they would just write something down on a piece of paper, then why did Thomas Jefferson literally write down that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends? He didn't say if it would become destructive, did he? A lot of people like to kind of put the word if in there, but that's actually not what he said. He said that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them, that would be you, as to which you shall seem to be most likely to affect your safety and your happiness. And we should always be striving towards that. We should have been striving towards it in the 1800s, in the 1900s, in the year 2008, 12, 16, 20, and especially right now in the year 2022. It used to be when seconds matter, police are only minutes away. That's why a lot of you have taken the responsibility and realized you're responsible for your own safety. It literally says that you're responsible for your own safety and happiness, as to them shall seem most likely. It doesn't say that the government will think will keep you most safe. The police aren't there to keep you safe. The government's not there to keep you safe. And somehow at a certain point, people got brainwashed. They became zombified, and they started to think something that was never the intent of this country and was never true and isn't true and never ever will be true. And anybody that's weak enough that thinks that somebody else, some building up on a hill, people that are going to be so high up that they can do whatever they want with absolute immunity, if somebody really thinks that that's going to be the protector of their safety, they either don't know, and I'm here to encourage you that that's not going to ever happen. I'm not discouraging you. I'm actually encouraging you. Or they're just willfully ignorant and they love to believe things that aren't true because it seems a little bit easier, a little safer, or whatever. So if you guys remember about 2.5 years ago now, time goes by slow, but then it flies all at the same time, right? I mean, that's how it feels for me anyways. It went from there's always going to be trouble in this country, and when there is, when seconds matter, cops are only minutes away. They usually actually come to write a report of what's already happened, which could include the loss of life or irreparable harm to you or your loved ones, your family, your friends, your neighbors. That's usually actually what happens. And there's some well-intentioned cops out there in your local community. Some aren't, some are. That's not what I'm getting at, though. Then we saw what was called the mostly peaceful protest. Do you remember that? Somebody that's been given sainthood by half this country was committing crimes, and during the altercation with the police, he ceased to live. You guys remember all about it, I'm sure. And we erupted into what they said, other than the fires. Remember, the news reporter was out there from CNN. They're real beauties, by the way, in a different kind of way. You guys are actually like beautiful people, but in a different kind of way. They're real beauties. Speaking of real beauty, Susan Wiki. How's it going, Susan? There you go. There's a real beauty for you guys, too. She's been shadow banning the channel. I had someone leave a comment yesterday, and they said, you're still around? I haven't received a notification in a year, so uncheck the bell, recheck the bell. It might work. Probably not, but it might work. So if you guys aren't getting notifications, that's a little trick. They said, the guy from CNN said, this is CNN. The fakest news in all of America. And look, this is a mostly peaceful protest. He's ducking. There's fire. There's stuff blowing up. Billions of dollars in damage. You can see about $1 million worth of damage right behind him. Other than that, though, totally peaceful, right? Protest. And then people said, where's the cops? You're supposed to only be minutes away, but they weren't. They weren't coming because in a lot of urban areas and cities, imagine this, controlled by the Democrat Party for a long time. Go figure. It might be a coincidence. You guys tell me in the chat. Do you guys believe in that kind of coincidence? Probably not, though. You guys are a little smarter than that. You can answer me if you want, but I already know. They said it's been minutes. It's been hours. My house is burned down. My neighbor's house blocks around. And they weren't going to come. Why? Well, they were too busy protecting the mostly peaceful protesters. Right. That's what they were doing. And people realized, no, they might never come because some mayors and some city councils said, stand down. Don't respond. They literally let them burn down one of their own police stations, which that's a whole ironic thing because it almost makes me smirk a little bit just due to the irony of it. But yet at the same time, it shows they weren't going to protect your house when they let them burn down and destroy their own police station. Something happened in America that we see every few years. It's actually not a once in a lifetime thing, but since a lot of you are new into guns, it may have been the first time that you saw it happen. People said that's it, and they went out and bought a gun, a lot of times for the first time. A lot of people, tens of millions of new gun owners. Now, you also had people that realized, hold on a minute, maybe you had a gun or two for a long time, but you realize that might not be enough. You might need certain guns for certain purposes because you found yourself living in a whole new world that you didn't think you'd experience before. Okay? There's many reasons, but people bought a lot of guns in the year 2020, in the year 2021. And that's actually a good thing. Because here's how I look at it. Just because someone's a new gun owner, and I see my friend Clover Tech, shout out to you, man, and your channel. Clover and I don't agree on everything, and we shouldn't, but this is one thing that he's talked about a lot that I do agree with. Look, here's the thing. Just because somebody buys a gun doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be pro 2A, or maybe not yet. And there's still going to be variances in that. There's going to be a huge spectrum because people aren't just like cookie cutter. They kind of are because they act like zombies and take all their rights for granted. But other than that, people are different, and they have different ways that they'll be on the spectrum of how 2A they are or aren't. But an interesting phenomenon does occur. You can have people that are actually going to fight for your right to keep and bear arms because they're pro 2A, obviously. But there's a second category of people out there that's kind of interesting. And I think we've actually seen a lot of these people come around. And some have already left the community too. A lot came, some have left, some are still here. I'm lucky that some of you guys are still here right now hanging out with me. Met a lot of good people the last couple of years. There's some people that aren't inherently pro 2A. And I only know this because I've talked to them here on YouTube and in real life, you know, whatever. And it's not that they necessarily became pro 2A, pro natural right to keep and bear arms, because the Second Amendment doesn't grant it, but it protects it. Okay. It protects it from the government. It says, don't tread on me, shall not be infringed. There's some people that never really bought into that concept, but now they bought something. And it cost them $100, $500, $1,000. And they're standing up to some of these potential gun confiscation laws, gun ban laws, just based on property rights alone. Saying, no, I spent $500 for this. Don't get excited, Susan. It's a fictitious. My hands are open. Susan thought I was gonna. Don't get excited, girl. It ain't gonna happen on here tonight. Anyways, they said I bought this for $500. And I worked hard for that $500, and I know you guys do too. I certainly do. You're not going to take it from me. So we've seen people that have actually realized that this is not just a Second Amendment issue, although that's the essence of what it is. It's also a property rights issue. And people, again, I'm going to say this one more time, bought a lot of stuff. Well, what happens when you have more demand than supply? I'm not an economist. I might get this a little bit wrong, but I'm just going to say it how I see it. The obvious economics 101, right? Not an economist, guys. So you can laugh at me if you guys are. When there's more people wanting something than what's available for sale, it either sells out in an instant and then there's nothing left to sell, or they start bumping the prices up a little bit. Now, there's a spectrum of that. Some people are what would a lot of people would be considered to be price gougers. That was a terminology that I struggled with and constructively argued with people on for 2 years. The good news is there's no one gouging on prices right now. We're going to get into whether it's a buyer's market at the moment. Thank you. Thank you, Clover. I appreciate it, dude. Thank you, man. You guys can read the chat if you want to see what out of the corner of my eye. Look, the whole price gouging thing was interesting. And I'm still want to give a little historical preface here until we talk about where we're at right this minute, because it's actually in a pretty good place if you have money, which most people don't. Yeah, a lot of stuff circular lately. You run into a situation where you'd have a local gun shop that was there for years before the pandemic, and you hope would be there for years after. And I know some local gun shop owners, some that I consider some of my best friends. And they ran into a situation where it sucked, and they did not want to price gouge. But here's the deal. If you have 20 guns for sale in your shop, all right, and you sell them at a profit margin for $50 a piece, let's just say, and I'm probably not too far off on that. Sometimes that is the profit margin someone strives for. I kind of made that number up, but not really. These guys aren't making as much as you might think. Some might, but most don't. All right, cool. That's $1,000. Now, can you pay the rent and keep the lights on and like even pay yourself enough to eat when you get home, or like the insurance that a gun shop has to have, the permits that are required in most areas, liability insurance, all this stuff? No, no one can run a business with a net revenue of $1,000. Not a brick and mortar where you're in the gun business. There's lots of extra overhead. There's local hurdles that require them to do things. Like a lot of them require you have to have a security system. That costs per month. Just things you might not think about. No, you couldn't. You go out of business. So the goal would be you sell 20 guns, you sell 20 boxes of ammo, you sell some accessories, and then as it's dwindling down to only 10 left, you might buy 10 more. But what happens when the local gun shop calls their distributor and says, all right, I sold 10 guns. I made my $50. The customer's happy. I'm happy. No one's gouging no one. We're just all kind of making a living. And if you can do that, you're better off than a lot of people, right? And they said, we can't get you any more guns. What are you talking about? Now, this keeps trickling up, and then it trickles back down because maybe the distributor couldn't get any more because the manufacturer couldn't keep up and didn't have anything to ship them. See where this keeps going? It's a domino effect. But I know some honest people that had to raise their prices. They didn't want to. They literally had to. I've talked to, again, I have a couple very close friends that own gun shops, okay? And they're like, dude, this sucks. But I have to raise this gun, this Taurus G2C. That used to be like sub $200. I have to raise it to $250. Now $275. Now $3. Yes, there was gougers out there too. And if you guys want to vent about that in the chat, that's awesome. I get it. There are those people, but I don't think most are that way. Most people I've met that are in the gun industry, whether it's me hanging out with the people at Palmetto State Armory, which they're not saying this. This is my words, in my opinion, might be the biggest domestic producer of guns in this whole country. That's just my opinion. All the way down to Supermatch G&A in Newport, Michigan. And Marksman Shooting Sports in Westfield, Indiana. And I've talked to these guys about it. Look, they're happy when they're making profit. Don't get me wrong. And I'm happy when a business that I love makes profit too, because I want them to stay in business. But prices just kept going up and up because people were going crazy, buying as many guns as they could. Is that a bad thing? I don't know. Maybe in some instances, people bought more than they should. That's a personal decision. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't judge you on it. None of my business. But I do understand why a lot of people did. Because of what I was talking about earlier, just the calamity, the chaos that was going on in so many places in this country. So prices went up and up and up. Some of it because it just sucks. Some of it because it just sucks. And also because it just sucks. There wasn't a lot of good with that. And for some of you out there, you've been just sitting back saying, I haven't bought anything in 3 years now. Because say you had what you needed, and that's good. That's awesome. You haven't bought anything, and you might be looking for, daddy needs a new pair of shoes, as the old saying goes. You just want to buy something. And sometimes you buy a gun just because you want to, right? Sometimes you buy it because you need it. Sometimes you buy it because you just want it. And you're in charge of your own finances. But if you can afford it, buying something because you want it is a perfectly fine reason as far as I'm concerned. Some of you shoot to train, okay? There's an old book called Shooting to Live, and it talks about how you don't shoot to try to kill people. You shoot to try to live, to protect yourself and the life of your loved ones. Some people, you're out there literally drilling and training like you're in a combat scenario or a self-defense scenario. Every round you fire is with ultimate purpose. And that's awesome, you guys that do that. Some people literally only go out and plink, and they just like the smell of gunpowder, and they just like the rapport, the recoil. They just like, I don't know how it looks when there's a hole in the paper target. And those are all fine reasons to shoot. And a lot of people do half and half. Other people go out to practice and sight in and pattern for hunting. And then they go to hunt because they love the outdoors. They have the respect for the hunt of an animal and its natural environment. And then they respectfully take the game, clean it, harvest it, clean it, dress it, eat it, and put natural organic food on the table. These are all awesome reasons to shoot. Well, the good news is stuff has changed in the last 2 years. Still not quite where it used to be 3 years ago in many cases. And that's what I'm going to opine on tonight, because I'm not sure we're going to get back there anytime soon. But for some of you that just couldn't do anything, not that you didn't want to, you just couldn't do anything. You just had to sit there and, wanted ammo but couldn't afford it, wanted a new model but couldn't afford it. There's a little bit of a silver lining, and there's stuff to be excited about. I'm going to read some chats real quick before I keep going into this, but I mean this to be kind of a positive, fun night. I'm getting ready to do a hangout here in Michigan tomorrow with a lot of you guys that are in the chat. And, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, man, look, I'm going to get on here and talk to you guys about when we're in dire straits. I'm going to try to rally the troops, get you guys motivated to save this republic as much as I can. And I actually did that in my intro here tonight, I hope. But we also sometimes can sit back and be like, all right, well, this sucks and that sucks, and there's still all of this. We might run out of diesel fuel in a few days, but I can now afford to buy that gun that I've wanted for a while. Or I can afford to buy 200 rounds of ammo instead of only 20 rounds of ammo, right? Now, when I go to talk about this, for anyone that's listening on YouTube, first of all, I know some of you guys like the channel. So shout out to the YouTube employees that are gun people, because I know you guys do exist. But I'm going to have to put this into context. I'm talking about, just for educational purposes tonight, just the general state of the gun community and the economy around it. I might mention a few brands, but it's only in the context just for this discussion of kind of the economics of things. I'm not going to promote any deals here tonight, guys. I'm not going to say you can go to such and such site for this much money and get this right now. I think that's kind of crossing the line with the YouTube policies, but there is a link to my local site, which is a different site, different terms of service, and I do have some of these awesome deals over there, so you guys can go over there and check that out. Can you throw some of those super chats up for me, Linda? I saw some generous chats, and I appreciate it. What's happening, Band Talk? Michigan man? Everyone call him a Michigan man. I mean, even if it's only for the next, 24, 48 hours or whatever. He happens to be just down the street. And I was so busy today. I wanted to, hang out with him. But I told him a cool local gun shop to go to. What's happening, Band Talk? Shout out to the Band Talk channel. Jesse Meek, thanks so much for another generous super chat, dude. I really appreciate it, man. He says, keep an eye on the chat accessibility. I clicked on this vid and could hear and see, but with no chat window. I had to back out a video twice before it showed up for use. Have a nice night. Can't stick around. Well, if you're listening later, thanks for the super chat, Jesse, and for your words of encouragement. I think YouTube was glitching just a little bit tonight, because when I went into the stream to throw the pop-out chat, because I stream through StreamYard, but I also have the YouTube pop-out chat, it's called, only because of one little annoyance with StreamYard. If you guys leave a member super chat, which is a perk you get for being a channel member, after you've been a member so long, you can throw up, it gives you the same amount of characters as a $10 super chat. It won't highlight that for me, so Linda has to have the eagle eye and find it. Certain things we can only still see on the YouTube side, and it did this weird thing when I went to open it up pre-stream. So I hope you guys can see me and hear me just fine. It would suck if I'm talking about all this to myself, because, yeah, I don't need to talk to myself. Hopefully you guys can hear me good. Thanks, Jesse. Band Talk. Jeez, man. Very generous. $50 super sticker. Thanks so much, dude. I really appreciate it, man. That helps more than you know. And, yeah, it helps a lot. I put a lot of money back into this channel, guys. Well, I put all of the money that I get back into it, and it adds up to a lot. But we can have a lot of fun due to the fact that you guys are generous with your donations, and also just being here. Look, if I have, I want to emphasize this to you guys one more time. When I say I want to thank everyone who supports the channel, there's two ways you support. Just being here, being yourself, having a good time, encouraging me. That's very, very important. Yeah, the money's very important because it costs money to do this. But look, let me guys give you a scenario. If I can barely keep this going, that's good. As long as you guys are here. Now, if I had, this is just hypothetical, but I want to get the point across so you guys know what I mean. You guys are supporters just for being here and offering me encouragement, making it where it's an awesome time for all of us. If I had two people watching this stream right now and they were both billionaires, Donald Trump and Elon Musk were watching the stream. Okay. And they just threw me like $100 super chat each every night. And they could just afford to do it every night because they could. They won't, but they could. Probably wouldn't stick around too long, guys. So I would rather have just enough to physically get by and like 200 people that are totally awesome hanging out. So thank you to all of you who are supporting me. I'm just kind of going like this right now over the chat. If anyone's looking for stickers, look, we always send supporter stickers. If you're a supporter and haven't received stickers yet, get with Linda. Now, once in a while, Linda's known to be a little bit nice. So that's up to you, girl. But if you're nice enough to Linda and ask her just politely enough, and she feels like it, sometimes she's known to break somebody off a sticker. So what a cop-out, right? You guys can't. I'm not going to be the bad guy, Band Talk, because Linda's in charge of doling out the actual stickers. You know what I'm saying? I don't discriminate either, Clover Tag. I would definitely take $100 super chats like that from billionaires, but it just wouldn't be a fun channel to have if I only had 2 viewers. That's my point. But yeah, I don't want to mince my words. I would, yeah. If you guys know any billionaires, have them come on in here. You know, I mean, of course. Thanks, Band Talk. I appreciate you, man. And this is one of the pitfalls of StreamYard in that I can't see well, I can see it, but I can't pen let me look at this. Basically like Megatron Hippo is what it really is. I'm sure you guys saw that in the chat, but he's just sitting there in the chair. Could you guys imagine if I did that? I'm talking about the little like animated emojicon and Band Talk Super Chat. I'm just sitting here 2A EDU and I'm like, oh, actually, I do that already anyways, don't I? Thanks, man. Okay, what else have we got, Linda? I want to talk about some of the good news, hopefully, in the gun economy, the buying market. Marco Polo with a super chat and a channel member. Thanks a lot, dude. I appreciate it, man. He says, have a great time tomorrow. See you tomorrow on Locals if you are streaming. Thanks again. The weather is not going to be the best tomorrow, guys, but it's like 40-50% chance. I don't think it's going to rain literally steady all day. I think we're still going to have a really good time. So I think we will. 2A forever, R. Long said. Absolutely. Steve Wagner, I hope you're doing good, man. I appreciate the support, the encouragement, dude. All right. What else have we got going on, Linda? I did see a member super chat. Just give me 1 second here, guys. It takes a second. Kurt, member for 4 months, left a member super chat and said, can't wait to meet a lot of you tomorrow. I can't wait for it either, man. Definitely. Paulo Morris said, just got on and over 150 people, now 200. Well, awesome. I'm going to talk about, like I said, the title in just a minute. Just wanted to give a little background, and sometimes I indulge and just kind of look at the chat for a few minutes because I like most of you. I think I do like everybody at this point in the chat. Sometimes there's like one person once. I don't know. I don't think there's ever been a troll in here, actually, now that I think about it. DB Cooper with the super chat. Thanks, DB. I appreciate it, man. And it's a nice tractor. I like that. That's pretty cool, dude. The tracks probably cost you more than the tractor, but it's a nice tractor. I like it. He says ADXR 920. Denny, Bill Camperis each gifted 5 memberships. Did you guys just gift a bunch of memberships? Well, thank you guys. And this is again where StreamYard, like I need to use StreamYard for so many reasons, but it kind of like glitches and it won't transfer some of the stuff over here to let me see it. But I know a few of you guys have definitely gifted some super chats in the last few weeks. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. ADXR 920, Denny, Bill Camperis, and others. Thank you. I know Band Talk was gifting memberships last week. And Denny, thank you, guys. That's awesome. And hopefully it makes it fun for all of you. If you're a new member, There is some extra emojis you can use. So if you hit that little thing where the emojis are on the bottom of the chat, you should see a couple cool ones. I need to make a couple more too soon. All right. Ryan, I did a pretty comprehensive thing on AKs on locals just this last weekend. I did it on Sunday, so it's up there. It's a free stream. Look, you guys actually have to sign up for locals. You have to have a login, which is good. It's behind the login wall, which was what I want. Because I don't know if you guys knew this, but a lot of big tech has a policy that says this. If you violate our policies, they'll say, even on someone else's site, we can punish you here, wherever that may be. A lot of big tech actually has that, believe it or not. And it's kind of crazy. You can support over on locals as a paid monthly supporter, and that helps keep everything going, and I much appreciate it. And I give a few extra perks, but a lot of the stuff that I put on there is totally free. Just ask some of the guys that are in the chat. So Ryan, if you want to hear like literally an hour's worth of, I think, lots of valuable information on AKs and putting things into perspective, like what category and which kind. I think it was a pretty good informative stream, and you can go over there, and it's one of the top couple pinned posts right now. You should find it like 2 down in the top of the feed, and might hit the spot for you or any of you that are wondering about that. I do a lot of extra content over there as far as streams goes and a bunch of other stuff too. What's happening, Amanda Wilson? Hopefully I don't break down again. I remember that one night before the stream. She bailed us out, or we would have been walking for miles and miles and miles. I appreciate you, Amanda. I'll be seeing you tomorrow for a little bit, right? EV3 Dale said, I gave a thumbs up and I'm voting November 8th. Very, very important, guys. Very important. Okay, we're looking at the gun market right now. Things are a little weird right now. I have to say that first and foremost. We talked a little bit earlier. If you guys are just joining, you can watch it on Rewind or hang out live right now and come back. I talked about what kind of set the stage. I think it's kind of obvious, literally insanity going on the last couple of years. And in many ways, things are getting better to a point, but in many ways, they're really not getting much better either. I think we have 2 things going on right now. First of all, we have people that might be a little less worried about their safety. You always got to worry about that, though, because you're responsible for that. What do you guys want? Not just literally you, but when I say you guys, I'm talking about we the people. This is stuff that I talk about, hopefully can encourage thoughtful conversations between you and your friends and family and coworkers, if appropriate, whatever. But do we want a very peaceful slavery? Or do we want a little bit of dangerous freedom and liberty? And that's a question that's good to ask and good to think about. Because to be free, you are putting yourself out there on the edge a little bit sometimes. And sometimes things that aren't known for sure. You'll just take something that you know sucks sometimes. Because what if on the other side of that curtain, if you peel it back, is the most beautiful thing ever? And you sure hope it is. But until you pull back the curtain, you just don't know. It could actually be more scary or dangerous than what you have right now. And it's something important to think about. I think it does all of us good if we think about that concept once in a while. And we think about that the founding fathers, look, they didn't say that it should be changed for light and transient causes. So you don't just run out there and say Lexington Green every day. And I'm telling people right now, I still believe there's a chance to change this country in other ways. I don't want it to become a hot civil war, no matter what. I'm not advocating for that. I don't want. More than anything, I don't want that. But we're in the middle of a civil war right now, and it's a cultural one. And here's the interesting part. People feel a little safer and more secure to a point, and that might be why gun buying's down. And guns are more in hand now, and ammo's more in hand. That's part of it. But I think another big part of it, see, in the past, that's what it's been. It's been, all right, it's over. Remember, they call it the Trump slump. Trump got elected. He said, if you elect me, your 4-year assault on the Second Amendment's over. And then he banned the Molot Russian guns, which were awesome AKs. Oh, my gosh. If you guys don't have one, hopefully you can experience one someday. But you won't be able to if you don't have one, and that's because of the Republican, Donald Trump. And then bump stocks, which led to all these brace bands and Chevron deference and all this other stuff, triggers. It actually wasn't true at all. When he said, if you elect me, your 4-year assault on the Second Amendment's over. It just wasn't true. Now, if I only had to pick between him and Brandon, the former vice president, yeah, with those two choices, and those were the two viable choices I had last time, I wish Trump was president over the former vice president. But I'm not happy with him either. But it was called the Trump slump. Remember, they said Hillary's going to win no matter what. He has zero chance. Some people have said Tudor Dixon has no chance in Michigan. Get out and vote, Michigan. It's a tie. Whether you want to believe him or not, don't believe the lies. Don't believe the propaganda. It's a tie right now. Okay? It's a tie. It's literally a coin flip on whether Tudor Dixon or Gretchen Whitmer will be the next governor of Michigan. You guys in New York are almost at a coin flip for governor right now. Do you know that? New Hampshire. Now, don't get complacent and sit back on your laurels, because as soon as you think this is in the bag, I'm going to be lazy, then you're going to get the peaceful slavery you deserve. New Hampshire, you might have a Republican senator. It's a coin flip. It's too close to call. Arizona, Blake Masters is tied/pulling away from the gun-banning astronaut himself. What a disgrace. An astronaut. A high-ranking officer in the United States Navy claimed to fight to keep the country free, and he wants to ban every one of your guns, Arizona. Guys, Blake Masters is probably winning right now in Arizona. Don't forget that. Georgia's a little different, but it's very, very important. There's probably going to be a runoff in Georgia, but it's within the margin of error. Herschel Walker, Raphael Warnock. Ohio, you're looking good, but don't go to sleep. I'm talking about this for a reason. I am talking about the gun climate right now. What I'm talking about has everything to do with it. Because politics and elections always has to do with gun prices. This is why we can't just talk guns without politics, because the other side's not going to stop. They're never, ever going to stop. That's why we can never, ever stop. And we have to stay encouraged, and we have to stay motivated where we can. Okay? Alan LeBlanc, I voted for Ryan Kelly in the primary, and I made that public on here. I'm not 100% sure about everything with Tudor Dixon either, but I am sure about Gretchen. That whole stick with the devil, you know. No. If I know the devil's here, I'm not going to stick with the devil I know. I'm not 100% sure about anybody. But lesser of two evils is less evil than a true evil, and you really can't get any worse than Gretchen, and I think Tudor's a lot better. Okay, so the elections are going to have something to do with gun prices, but not as much as they did in 2016, and here's why. When the Trump slump happened, the economy was good, and people just stopped buying guns because they didn't think they needed to anymore. Because he stood up there and said, I'm the greatest. If you elect me, your 4-year assault and the Second Amendment will be over. And he lied to you. But people didn't care because they're like, but he's really not going to ban like too much. And that's where we've gotten used to. As long as it's not quite so much, we'll be fine with it. Right? Not so much. Just some. Just a tip. That's all. I mean, you guys know what I'm saying, right? Okay. This time it's a little bit different because I don't think it's just the political climate right now why people have stopped buying guns. Because they stopped buying guns for the most part. Most people stopped buying guns months ago when all the fake news said that Democrats were up by 20 points in every election and was going to win in a landslide, because that's what they always say. I think right now what's going on is buyer fatigue like we've never seen before. It's a buyer's market right now. There you go. Is it a buyer's market right now? Yes, it is. Absolutely. But here's the problem. The reason it's a buyer's market right now is because most people can't buy, like physically can't. There's not enough butter to physically put on the bread. You can't make your ends meet, right? Or people are just so damn frustrated with it. They're like, I am sick and tired of buying something with my own hard-earned money and having to worry about whether it's going to be banned the next day, or whether the ATF's coming the next day, or the whoever, the AFT. If you listen to the former vice president, people literally are suffering fatigue in almost everything. I just saw my friend Dad, a good point. He said not even seeing people picking up as much at the grocery store. No, people are fatigued, period. And buying guns and ammo is no exception. But if you were to be in this situation, because this is what happens, and this just sucks, and I'm not going to end up on the good side of it either, guys, trust me. But this is where people that are well-to-do usually rise up and usually position themselves even better, whether it's with their hobbies, their collections, their investments, because guns are so many things, and they do end up falling into things like investments and collecting for some people. And there's certain guns I would lean more towards if I was doing that than others, obviously. Milsurps, imports. Okay. But people are suffering fatigue, period, right now. Financial fatigue. Just don't have any money. Yeah, that's a reality for a lot of people. I keep telling myself, well, 2020 was just not a good year. I barely scraped by. 2021, it just wasn't a good year. 2022, it's almost over now. Halfway through the year, I'm like, maybe it can turn around and be a better year. Not really. At this rate, I guess I'll be working for free eventually, because the last 3 years I make slightly less every year running my small business. I get it. People have buyer fatigue just due to the fact that they're out of money, and there's just everything's gone up so much. I mean, $5.50 for a gallon of diesel fuel in Michigan right now, $4.29 if you're lucky, if not $4.39, $4.49 for a gallon of gas. Dozen of eggs, it used to be 88 cents all day long. Now, if you have them from a nice farm, they've always cost a little more, and in my opinion, it's worth it. But I'm talking going to Walmart and buying the cheapest eggs you could. They were 88 cents 3 years ago. Now they're $3. Milk was $1.50. Now it's 3 something. I mean, people have to choose between putting, as the old saying goes, bread and water. I guess if you're in solitary confinement. Future felons of America, by the way. A lot of us are going to be felons real soon. We're going to talk about this as it gets closer, but don't forget that for all you law-abiding gun owners out there, there's probably about 100 million people that are going to be felons soon. Even bread and water has gone up, guys. I hope you're feeding your family better than that. There's like no nutritional value to sustain yourself on bread and water, obviously. But the water isn't good at my shop, so I buy gallons of spring water. Was 78 cents. Are you kidding me? It's $1.39. Think about if you want to actually put something that tastes good or nourishing on your plate. You're going to try to nourish your family and put something on your plate to eat before you're going to buy another gun and ammo in most situations. That's part of the fatigue. The other fatigue is just people getting sick and tired of all the crap. You go buy whatever you buy normally, and it's like, dude, I go buy a circular saw. Okay, I can like go cut wood with it and use it for its intended purpose. Now, could I kill somebody with a circular saw? Sure. I don't have that intent, and I wouldn't, but could one do it? Yeah. But no, I just want to cut wood with it. When I'm not, it just sits there till I'm ready to use it again. Nobody's coming and trying to take this Makita circular saw. I'm looking at it out of the corner of my eye, guys, because a lot of this shop is tools for my business. But people are getting annoyed and ticked off, and a lot of people are just tired of the stress of you buy an inanimate object. You're going to use it to try to preserve this republic. You're going to use it to hunt with. You're going to use it for target. Whatever you're going to do with it, you don't want to hurt anyone. You just want to be left alone. And there's constantly these clowns on TV everywhere trying to take it from you every 5 minutes. When you combine the financial stress people are under and then just the mental stress, ATF raids this, ATF raids that, there goes another dog, there goes another dog. I mean, we've heard more craziness and stuff the last couple years than like decades before that. And we had Ruby Ridge before that and Waco, Texas before that. We've seen them come in and just slaughter people in the past, but in the last couple of years, the rhetoric, the pressure just keeps getting turned up and up and up. That's why prices are low right now. And that's why prices have fallen like crazy right now. Because people either just couldn't afford to keep buying guns at the rate they were, and or, because it can be both. It can be and, or it can be or, right? You know how this stuff works. And sometimes it's not even 50-50. It might be you're a little bit financially strapped for cash right now, but you're a lot of stressed out about people trying to take your stuff all the time. Or you could be just a little bit stressed out about them taking your stuff, but you're very much so strapped for cash. Or it could be 50-50. I know some of you are kind of nodding your heads thinking to yourself right now. You're like, yeah, dude, I am sick of all this crap. And it does kind of feel a little bit relieving to buy like something else sometimes, but they're not trying to like take from you the minute you get it, right? I know. It does get annoying. It gets annoying. It can get much more than annoying, but we have buyer's fatigue right now. But with that said, I think right now, like maybe not like today, you might want to in the next couple weeks, you know, look at some of the Black Friday deals. But I mean like the general right now is actually a buyer's market. I'm watching gun prices. Just think about this for a minute. I'm watching gun prices in many cases, not milsurps. That's something totally different. Okay. Yeah. God bless Randy Weaver and his family. Yes, sir. George Washington. A great American, in my opinion. Now, look, you guys are sitting there thinking, well, hold on a minute. Guns aren't the lowest they've ever been. Well, let's put milsurps in a separate category. Those are different. I've talked about those before. Those are kind of like whoever had the stable as a Swiss bank account, they weren't a milsurp collector. Those just kind of do one thing. They keep going dink, 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 dink. If you buy it for the right price, if it's the right condition, if it's the right model, that's a conversation for another night. But I was watching the G2C. Again, not promoting it YouTube. We're just having more of an economic state of what's going on with guns and ammo prices right now is really what I'm doing. But if you guys want to see some awesome deals, those are over on Locals. It's totally fine. And I shared some awesome deals over there. Like that 1897 trench gun for half off was awesome. I'm not saying where, Susan, but over on Locals, you guys can see who has that. Anyhow, I'm watching the G2C, which, by the way, has a $25 rebate right now, and the G3C, the whole G2 and G3 series, the GX4 series, which includes XL, $50 rebate. I'm going to put out a little quick video to remind people that on here. G2C. A lot of you guys own one. I do. I own a couple of them. Great little pistols. And it's only about $25 more than it was like in 2019. So it's up 10%. That actually means it's cheaper than it was in 2019, actually. If you look at now look, there's different ways to do this. What they do is so that they can't say we're in a recession, and they say there's not that. They change the definition of what inflation is and what a recession is. You guys know the drill. I'm not an economist, but you don't need to be one. They change the words, right? If you don't think we're in a recession or inflation right now, you'd have to be nuts, I think, right? What do you guys say to that? You'd have to be a little bit not playing with a full deck if you don't think there's like crazy inflation right now. But if you look at the percentage of what a gallon of water, a gallon of gas, a gallon of diesel fuel, your heating bill, your electric bill, your natural gas bill, milk, butter. Have you guys looked at what a pound of butter costs? I don't mean the fake margarine, but actual butter. Margarine went up too, by the way. When diesel goes up, everything goes up. Everything's transported by diesel. You know that, right? We know that, but the news won't admit to it. The G2C is only up 10% at the most from 2019, which means it's actually cheaper now than it was in 2019. If you look at a comparison of the prices of increases from everything else. I looked and was excited to see the Taurus rebate. Okay. Then I saw the Rock Island rebate. Oh, that was a good one too, or is still. Then I saw the Smith & Wesson. Then I saw the Sky. Let me go click over on my Locals here just so I can look at a little cheat sheet, because I've been posting a bunch of these awesome deals over to Locals. Links in the description, probably in the chat too by now. Yeah, 3 different tiers. Rossi, Heritage, which is all part of the Taurus family. Rebates, rebates, rebates. It's not for everyone, but I saw a Smith & Wesson Shield EZ Performance Center. The thing's the price of a regular Shield, and it's got like $250 in upgrades on it. Again, it might not be your boat, whatever. Maybe it is. If you're like, oh, dude, I want a Performance Center Shield, go over to my locals. I posted it there. I can't share it here. But that's besides the point. It's just like, really? I'm looking at this 1897 trench gun over on locals. I'm looking at this VRF 14. $600 firearm. It's the 14-inch version. On sale for half off. $299 with a $100 rebate brings it down to $199. Like, some of this stuff's actually going on right now. It's a buyer's market, but unfortunately, you can't always have things line up. It's not what you want sometimes, it's when you want it. For the reason that we're in a buyer's market right now is the very reason why half of us are frustrated. Because the reason why you can't buy is because of all the fatigue you're suffering, which is the reason why it's actually a buyer's market. And people with a bunch of money usually do mop up on stuff that's like good deals when they can, because they have the money floating around. Real estate, that's a very common thing people do. Buy up. Well, now you've got BlackRock and all that stuff. That's totally different. But the traditional landlord would have money in the bank and buy the house they got foreclosed on during the recession, right? And then when things got better, they would own that house free and clear of the bank, and they charge appropriate rent. I mean, again, I'm not an economist, but I've seen people do this stuff, at least on a small scale. But yeah, gun prices are actually really good right now, in my opinion. They're not the same exact price as they were 3 years ago, but if you look in comparison to how much everything else has gone up, a lot of them are the same price, if not cheaper. And look, I do this too a lot, guys. And we do it because it's fun, and we can do it all we want. We should do it because there's just something fun about it. But at the same time, and I do this more than any of you guys, I want to make this crystal clear. So I'm going to put myself out number one, but we got to all fess up to something. We are kind of being stupid when we say, in 1994, I bought an SKS that was brand new, unissued for $99. Now, we can say that and it's fun, but we're being kind of stupid if we go further and say, therefore, hereby it's now a ripoff for $299. That's where we get stupid. And I do it more than any of you guys combined. So if you guys think I'm calling you stupid, I'm calling myself stupid more than anybody. I like to do it a lot. Ha ha ha. I bought mine for $99. Now, I don't do that to brag and gloat. I'll just do it kind of to myself. I'll think to myself, I'll be like, whoa, really? But hold on a minute. What did an economy car cost back in 94? Probably 3 times less than what it does now. What was all of these common things that we buy almost every day? So before we sit there and say, before we look at it and say, hold on a minute, $99.94, we can't say that we got it for $200 cheaper than it is today if it's $300, because we're just in a different era. It's 30 years ago. I mean, time flies, right? Well, it's almost 30 years ago, 1994. I'm getting old, guys. I get it. Some of you are older than me, so you can't laugh. Some of you are young, and you can laugh at me right now, but I'll laugh at you when you're 40. You know what I'm saying? Ammo. Ammo actually ain't bad right now either. Now, that doesn't mean I'm telling you go invest in a bunch of ammo because it's going to double in price. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if you've been going without and you just need some, I don't think you're going to get hurt too much buying it if you buy it right. I post tons of ammo deals on locals, like a lot of them. I have literally, and this isn't like just for me personally. This is, again, for the channel. This is going to be a win-win. But I literally have total of, and I'm going to do a quick video for you guys when I get off tonight, before I go to my hangout tomorrow. I have 5,000 rounds of ammo here. And some of it's 22 to be fair. And the most expensive is 9. So these are all cheap cartridges. Well, even though most of you guys aren't going to be at my hangout tomorrow, some of you are in real life. We're going to film all of it so you guys can experience it. We're going to test out a PSA GF3 AK. Hopefully weather permits enough for me to do all this. And I want to put some rounds through the Dagger and through a Taurus GX4 XL. and future videos. So you guys will see every last round of all this ammo on camera. But I think I got pretty darn good prices on all this stuff, like literally. And just watch out in the next couple days. You're going to see a 5,000 round ammo unboxing. Again, I have this huge stockpile that I got because I've been being a good custodian of all the generous super chats, Patreon, channel members, all of that. And I've been keeping it set aside and just dumped a bunch of it into ammo for all of us to enjoy. And I truly mean that. You guys will see. I'm not going to be the only one shooting these guns on camera. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the 7.62 by 39. I'm going to make a whole big locals post that's going to be a companion to the YouTube post. But I'm just telling you guys what I'm doing. It's easy for someone to sit there and say you should or whatever. You guys shouldn't do anything I do. Do whatever the heck you want. But I'm not afraid to buy ammo right now. And here's why. It's come down to still a little bit more than pre-2020. But there's a couple big differences. One is just look at the cost of everything. Back to that again. You guys know how heavy ammo is. I mean, come on. What have I got here? This one's actually almost nothing. This box is mainly paper. But below it's 1,000 rounds of 9. It's got to weigh at least 50 pounds. 1,000 rounds of 7.62 by 39 probably weighs 60, 70 pounds ish. I'm not sure. Maybe only 50. I don't know. I'm so strong, everything feels light to me, so it's hard for me to tell, right? But I'm not shying away. I'm buying what me, and in this case, much of this tomorrow for me and my friends to shoot. Look at the price of everything right now. Wages, they're not going up enough to meet your needs, to pay your bills. I get that, but wages have been going up a lot. I'm seeing fast food saying 14, 15 an hour. I'm looking at freight costs going up and up and up. And it's not just that everything's going up. Here's the other thing that affected ammo. The former vice president banned all Russian imports. And a very large percentage of the ammo shot in the United States came from Russia. Now we're back to there's still not the supply that there once was. There might be less demand than there was at certain times. There might be more demand than there was during other times in fairly recent history. But we just had a whole nother large segment of the ammo manufacturing industry, of the supply chain, completely banned and wiped off the map. That's a big deal. I don't say it's doom and gloom. Actually, I'm surprised stuff's come down as cheap as it has. It just shows you how much buyer fatigue there is right now. If people had like normal buying habits and normal budgets of what they did, let's just say even during the Trump slump, we thought it was slow then. It's slower now than it was then. Big time. Things have changed very quickly recently. I think you guys have noticed that. Very quickly. Slowly at first, then all of a sudden. That's how tyrants usually take place, actually. Very slowly for the longest period of time, right? Band talk, then all of a sudden, just like that. You guys are noticing it now. We're all noticing it. You have to be a moron not to notice what's going on right now with so many things. November 8th, very important date. Look at raw materials. Look at commodities. Okay. Copper. Obviously. I literally watched them making bullets. I don't mean the whole loaded cartridge. I watched that too, but literally the bullet at AAC Ammo. Spools, rolls of copper. You guys are going to see it too soon. When you're making ammo like they are, pallets of copper. You think copper's up in price? Yeah, and if you don't believe me, go to your Lowe's and Home Depot and just try to buy like 250-foot roll of, it's called NM or Romex wire. Look up your receipt of what it was for 250 foot of Romex, 2-wire, which means it has a white and a black, and then an unshielded bare copper. There's actually 3 wires in there, but it's still called 2-wire. Go look up 12/2 or 14/2. Look at the price now of copper wire versus 3 years ago. It's through the roof. Literally through the roof. I saw somebody delusional in my chat earlier today, and I say that because I'm not pulling any punches. It's my chat. I'm not going to be bullied, but they were talking about what a moron people are for buying ammo right now. Well, this person has no clue. They were giving me betting advice, but then admitted they lost all their money down to where they didn't even have $5 left because they bet so much money on Trump and lost. Can you imagine, people? But no, look at the reality of things. Do I wish that it was $12 a box for 9? Yeah. But the 14, 15 it's at with free shipping, if you don't believe me, go over and look at my locals. I've been posting awesome deals, including today. And then you look at what copper wire cost at Lowe's now compared to what it was before. Now go look at the cost of brass. And I'm not even talking from an ammo component standpoint. Notice I didn't say go look at what component bullets cost and what brass cases cost. You can go look at those too and see they're way up. No, I'm just talking the raw material portion of things. It used to cost you $5 in gas to go to your buddy's house and back. Now it costs you $10 in gas to go to your buddy's house and back, or more. And that's only if he lives like 2 miles away, if it's $5 in gas, obviously. Some of you guys are like, what do you mean? It's like $100. I just saw someone in the chat. They said, dude, my buddy lives 20 miles away. It's $100 because I drive a diesel. I get it. I was exaggerating on the downside of things. It used to be $2 in gas to drive to your buddy's house that's next door to you. You started your car. Think about it. You started your car very promptly, did a 3-point turn, and then no more did you start going straight and you turned in because you're next door neighbors and it was $5 in gas. I mean, okay. Ammo's really not that much more if you consider all of that, actually. Now, I don't want anyone to misconstrue what I'm saying here. I'm not saying that, like, as I kind of made a rough analogy earlier, saying someone with money might buy a house during a housing market collapse and then it becomes worth more later. I'm not saying that. I'm just giving you an analogy of people with money buy what they see fit and take advantage of low prices when most people, unfortunately, can't buy or they have to sell. It's just the cruel way that economics can work, but it's not cruel. It's also the smart way it works. It's neither. It's both. I'm not an economist, okay? But if you think about everything else, how heavy it is, the fuel to ship it, the increased government scrutiny, regulations, the fact that 35% of the ammo supply was cut out, I'm actually surprised it's so cheap. And I just saw Terry Brown say, bought some and haven't had the chance to run it. Well, there's some security in having it, but hopefully you get the time to go out and actually do some shooting, right? We don't want to just collect ammo. I saw Walker Customs. Thanks for being a channel supporter, man. He said, I've tried many more brands of ammo because of all the craziness on the market. And here's the thing, and this is where I want to find silver linings. And look, I know most of you don't have any money right now. I get it, but here's the fun thing. Maybe if you have a few extra bucks, you can go buy a couple boxes of ammo. 2 years ago, it was like $50 in many cases to buy one box of FMJ 9mm in like the one brand that your local gun shop would have. If you were lucky, now you can buy 3 boxes probably-ish of different brands. I'm having a good time, guys. I've been testing all this stuff. You guys that have been on my locals for a while, you know where to get this. Awesome deals. $269 per 1,000 DRZ. We're going to have some fun with some of that tomorrow, guys. I'll give you guys a teaser. This is going to be a standalone YouTube video. DRZ, $269 free shipping. Ooh, I almost knocked that over. That's 1,000 rounds. It wasn't too heavy. It's just there was tons of packing tape. I'm like, don't break open before I do my video. Tomorrow this time it won't matter. It'll all be downrange. This has been awesome stuff. Are any of you guys having fun with this too? That's the fun thing about having a channel, I guess, is I don't get bored, right? Because you guys want to know. You're like, what about the Turan ammo? What about the ZSR? What about the DRZ? What about the SARS Lamaze, right? You guys are going to see some other brands in my soon to be published video that I'm going to record in a couple minutes when I get off here. It's kind of fun. And this is stuff I buy for the channel so I can shoot it. And you guys can see me shooting some of this exact ammo. I think literally all of these in my Taurus GX4 XL video that I put out a few weeks ago. But if you guys want to know about this stuff, I can tell you about it. And I've spent a lot of time both here and on locals doing that. But it is fun. And I do like even collecting empty ammo boxes. These being full, but I just think it looks cool. Like just having some variety, having some color in your life. You know, the whole world is my palette of different colored, empty, some cases full still, but usually they end up empty quicker than they stay full ammo boxes. I don't know. You got to be happy about something. I mean, I get up there and you look at this guy. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't even know what's going on. I'm Joe Biden and I'm going to beat Joe Biden. I'm Jill Biden's husband. Really? Why don't you get your balls out of your woman's purse, dude, first of all? But whatever, you know. Shubin and I'm under national pressure. You listen to that stuff too much. Jeez, oh Pete. Yeah, you're going to want to find a tall building and something or another, if you know what I mean. No, don't do that. You're way too special to even think about that. But sometimes it's just kind of fun to sit back and enjoy, like, different colors and designs of ammo boxes. Does anyone do that, or am I just way too easily amused? If you guys are too stressed out to be easily amused, try to be easily amused, because it's like, don't be so stressed out, guys. Your mental health's very important. And I want you guys to be healthy. I really do. And I guess the crappy thing is not a lot of us can do much about it because we're so fatigued in so many ways. But the silver lining is, I don't know, let me look at this real quick here. I mean, 16, $45 free shipping. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of fun for $45. Dude, like 2 years ago, this was $50. It hasn't gone up as much percentage as a gallon of fuel has, or a gallon of milk, or a loaf of white bread, which has no nutrition at all. But I guess when you put on bread and water, you'll eat it to try to survive. I know you guys have tons of struggles in life right now trying to survive. I was fixing the ignition on a lawnmower like 20 minutes before I went live, guys, and ate half a plate of food and threw the rest in there. I get it. I wouldn't be working that hard if I didn't need to, but I'm kind of having fun right now talking to you guys, and I'm like, man, you know, just think of that. $350 for a Taurus G2C just 2.5 years ago. Now we're talking like $2.25, $25 rebate. You know, I'm hoping there's going to be some good Black Friday deals. Is some stuff randomly going to go down a little bit lower? Sure, it could. I'm not saying we've reached the rock bottom, but if you look at the price of copper wire at the store and you look at metals and stuff on some of the different markets, I'm not talking gold and silver. I'm talking like steel and brass and things like that. I think, look, this is like a curse and a blessing both. As much as it sucks and we're very unlucky that there's so much buyer fatigue and economic fatigue right now, we're actually lucky that this stuff isn't higher than what it is too at the same time. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know. This type of conversation I'm having with you guys hopefully is fun, and I'm being real with you the whole time, which means it might kind of sound like a little bit that I'm talking doom and gloom, but it's just like I cared too much about you guys just to lie to you. I'm not going to say, oh, look, the economy's great. I'm sure everybody is having a much easier time paying their bills than they were 3 years ago. Of course not. I'd be a dummy if I tried to say that. But with all of that stuff that's like really crappy, we're watching prices pummel on guns and actually kind of sort of on ammo too, compared to what they were a couple years ago and with everything else considered. I'm going through very, very careful. If you don't mind, George Washington, I'm being very careful right now to not promote any of these companies that sell this stuff because we are on YouTube. So if if you see your comment removed because you guys are promoting companies in here, trust me, I'm just as censored as you are, more censored than you are, because we're on YouTube, guys. Just realize that, okay? All right, did I have some more super chats, Linda? I like to get those while people are still in here because I really do appreciate it. Ron Moman with the super chat. Thanks, dude. And dude, the $5 is awesome because I'm sure you work hard for your money. That means a lot, but I really appreciate the encouragement. Even more than the $5. He says, great show, and you're down to earth. Dude, I have no choice. I'm literally like, no, I'm not bragging about myself. I just mean like down to earth in like the physical sense. Yeah, I've been covered in dirt and dust and crap for like days and days straight, really for years. But literally, right before I was on here tonight, it's a little like, okay, so there's the ignition for the lawnmower, right? It's a whole like, I mean, I guess there's pieces inside of it, but it's a one-piece ignition. There's a little like body panel where there's a hole, okay? And then it's threaded and there's the little nut. It's really thin, but it's actually like a pretty big nut. Threads on. Well, from vibration, sometimes it gets loose. I was crawling and like trying to get my head like contorted underneath and like it almost hurts to try to get I'm looking at all the nooks and crannies, literally. So I was down as close to the earth as I literally could have been, looking for a little nut. It's about this big around and it's like really, really thin. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? All of you have had like on your riding lawnmower. Yeah, my commercial zero turn has one of those ignitions. So that made me laugh because I appreciate the compliment as you meant it, but no, like physically, I was crawling around in the dark, but I did find it and I did get it back on there. So, Linda, hopefully you're at least a little bit happy about that. She's going to be using the mower next. That's why she's like happy about that. If you make it too difficult for me to start the darn mower, you're going to have to cut it yourself. That's probably what she said. And I wouldn't blame her if she did. Walmart deal. What's happening, man? $2 super chat and a channel member. Thanks, dude. I appreciate it, man. Again, we can't quite pin the stickers up here, but that's just due to a technological little whatever. You know what I'm saying? That we can't bridge the gap with, but hopefully you guys enjoyed the sticker itself, and I appreciate the contribution to the channel, man. Thank you. Did we have a member one from Denny? Did you already get that, Linda? I don't know. I kind of expressed what I thought about the gun market. I'm going to look into the chat in a little bit and see what you guys are thinking. PSA AK, guys. I just posted 2 awesome deals on that on locals literally today. Guys, it's like 100% we're going to do it. The only asterisk is if the weather's too bad to do it that long, we're going to have to see. But I'm doing my hangout tomorrow, rain or shine, just so you guys know. PSA GF3. It's right there. Just kidding, Susan. It's so far away. Susan Wiki. Hold on, Gus. Let's get her out of the way first. Susan Wiki. Because Gus is an actual lady that I like. So Susan Wiki. She's a real beauty in a different kind of way. It's so far away, Susan, I couldn't touch it if I had to, guys. But in theory, there might be a GF3 just a few feet away. I want to run 1,000 rounds through. I put 100 rounds through it down at the home range at PSA. I bought it. Do you guys remember that? I bought it, shipped it to Michigan, kept it new in the box, took it all the way back down south to where it was born, where it was made, shot 100 rounds through it. Loving it. Not even close, not even a debate. I just love everything about it right now. It's only 100 rounds. Me and some of you guys that are in the chat literally right now are going to get to shoot it tomorrow. And then we will come back and talk more about it. I'm not going to hide anything, guys. I never would. Wouldn't dream of it in a million years. And if you don't believe me, even better, because I physically am not going to be able to. We're going to be recording it. And at least probably 10, 15 people I see in here right now, if they want to, is going to be putting their fingers on the trigger. Guys, there we go. So we said real beauty in a different kind of way. Guys, she is a beautiful person, and I'm glad to see you here tonight. Thanks for another generous super chat. 209 watching. Smiley face. Channel is growing. Well, thank you, guys. Dude, 200 awesome people. That's more than I ever thought I'd have. Let's just put it that way. So thank you so much, guys, for hanging out. Patrick Fellers, there's another good one. What's happening, man? Thanks for the super chat. He says, always enjoy your Friday chats, Bubba. Well, thanks, man. I'm glad to hear that. And I don't know. Why don't you, Linda, if you have 2 seconds, I know it's getting late and you're getting tired, but if you can just get me through these chats here, and if you just have 2 more minutes, maybe drop a chat to like Gus and Patrick, and I believe there was another gentleman earlier. See if they'd like a sticker. So, son Patrick, they've been helping out the channel quite a bit lately, or whoever. Like I said, sometimes Linda, hey, it's up to her. Once in a while, she will. Yeah, this is a lot of ammo here, but it's not really mine though. That's why I told you guys. I'm like, you guys help out, it goes back into the channel, and not literally all of it, but all of it's going to be used on the channel, okay, over time. But a good portion of this is going straight out to the range tomorrow. I'm having a supporters hangout. I've been talking about it off and on for a while. But here's the thing, like I said earlier, just you guys being here and stuff and hanging out and words of encouragement, you guys are also supporters, so you guys will get to enjoy the content. So we are all going to enjoy this ammo as much as we can, and hopefully it'll give you guys a little bit more of an educated decision if you're thinking about stuff. Like maybe, I'm thinking about a PSA AK. Dude, there was a time, guys, that not even that many years ago. Are you kidding me? An American-made AK? Yeah, right. If you guys want to know my view, though, on modern American AKs versus parts kits builds versus imports, I think. What do you think, Denny, Gort? Who else is in here that was watching that stream the other night? Denny, you're an AK guy. AR too, but I know you've got at least a couple AKs. I think it was a pretty good stream as far as information. If you guys want to know my opinion on this, I laid a lot of info out on that. And the nice thing about locals is I had to do that on locals, and it's free. You guys want to go become a free member? It's probably the second from top pinned comment. Not pinned comment, pinned post, rather. On locals right now, I needed to be able to touch the guns while I was live, guys. Okay? I had to be able to touch them so I could point to things and show. But just a couple years ago, it would have been like, dude, are you kidding me? A USA-made AK? Yeah, right. Give me a break. No way. Well, I've been down there, and I've watched them build them. I liked what I saw. So I did what a lot of people do. I bought one. I put 100 rounds through it. It's all on camera on this YouTube channel. This channel right here. You might have got an alert, but 3 weeks ago, whenever that was, go look it up. You can see the first rounds on it. And then we're going to put a whole heck of a lot more. And then you guys will be able to see that. For your entertainment, awesome. If you just like watching me and others shoot guns, that's awesome. I hope you like that. Or maybe you want to look at it more like, okay, how did it do? And make an educated decision on whether you want to purchase or not. And that's why I bought it, because it was the cheapest one that they sell. Still is the cheapest one they sell. Can't promote it here, Susan, but I do over on locals. Look, guys, these were for sale at Black Swan Tactical, okay? My friend John Crump had a site where my merch was available. He closed the site down about a month ago. The fall is one of those like scrambling to get some fall cleanups and last minute lawns and other random stuff done. Hopefully I should have more time to breathe and put tons more content out. I have to breathe and eat too, guys. Once I have time, and I mean eat meaning like clearly I eat too much. I get that, but I only ate half a plate of food because I was in a rush. But once things calm down and I can breathe a little more, I'll have time to maybe find another place to host my merch if you guys are interested. And put out a heck of a lot more videos because that's the most important part. So there's really no place to buy these right now, Anthony Smith. Shout out to Mateo. He designed this. A couple of you guys have these. They were available for months and months and months, probably for a year at Black Swan. Due to reasons. I mean, he can say why, because I don't know exactly why, but John Crump decided he was in his best interest or whatever to close that business. So nowhere for sale right now. Crappy answer, but a true answer. I don't know. Smash Time, what's happening, man? How you doing? Texas. Oh, hold on a minute. How many people are from Texas in here? It's been a while since I've done this, guys. I should have learned my lesson, but every time I get a shout out to Texas, they get a little bit cocky. They get don't mess with Texas, right? What's happening, Smash Time? Shout out to all my Texas friends. But hold on. Bigger shout out to all my Michigan friends. All the rest of you guys can stay out of this. Just stay on the sidelines. This isn't a place for women and children at this point, except for Gus and Linda and the women that hang out here. You guys can watch this brawl. Shout out to Texas. All right? 10 times bigger shout out to Michigan. What's happening, Smash Time? He's going to be in Michigan next weekend. I'll probably be in Michigan, I think. I'll be here. I might be in such a cloud of dust and leaves I won't know where I'm at, but I will text you. What's happening, dude? Here's the thing. Whether he wants to admit it or not, Band Talk counts with the Michigan guys right now for another 24 to 48 hours. Are you with us, Michigan guys, Band Talk? Oh, boy, I said don't mess with Texas. There's like 15 of them in here. Come on, man. Come on, Denny. This is an old thing, guys. I've been talking about this for 2 years on here. You know? What's happening, Walker Customs? Good night, man. Nice seeing you, dude. Mateo said, yeah, it sucks. I don't know what to say, guys. This isn't like a big outfit here, if you guys can't tell. I mean, can you tell? There's my Pro 2A Tactical 45 AR. I'm going to bring that out tomorrow. I got a box or two of ammo. No, dude, I've got love for Florida, of course. Why do you think I'm bashing the crap out of Texas right now? Okay, look, let me put it a little more bluntly. Most love for Michigan, obviously. Love for all the rest of the states but Texas. You know what I'm saying now, Patrick? Oh, boy. We have done a collab. Smash Time and I have been friends for quite a while now, actually. We've done a collab. Get in the old searcharoo, and that would be on the Smash Time channel. And shout out to your channel, by the way, Smash Time. I hope you're doing good, man. I have to catch up on so many of you guys' videos that have channels that I've liked for a long time. I barely have had time to even look at YouTube for the past couple weeks. It's been crazy just because I don't want to tell you guys all my drama, but it's just that time of year where I'm just kind of scrambling in circles. Anyone who's ever been in any kind of landscaping or lawn care, you kind of get it, right? All right, let's see here. Randy Smith, have fun. Thanks, man. Wish you were too. Misty Mrs. Wayne. See, I said normally we'd say put away the women and children. We're about to have a brawl. But the chicks that hang out here, you guys can stay. Misty says, sorry, 2A, Kentucky's better. It's not bad, actually. I do like the state of Kentucky. I do. I've been through there several times in the last couple of years. But look, guys. I mean, shout out to the people of Michigan. I'm not giving literal Michigan a shout out. Gretchen Whitmer, are you kidding me? Ugh. Of course, Kentucky's governor ain't too much better right now. Is that right, Mateo? Yeah, Walmart deal. Don't mess with that 2A hat. Dude, hard target. You guys want to know why nobody messes with me, right? I'll give you guys a second. No, girls, it's not my good looks. Come on. No, it's not my physical prowess and muscles. You guys are guessing all wrong. Let me cut to the chase here. You know why nobody messes with me? Lami, obviously. I mean, duh. You wouldn't even, I mean, come on. You guys know what I'm saying now, right? There was a little bit of a debate in the chat. What keeps him from messing with him? And it's like, well, obviously, right, Denny? Thanks for the generous super chat, Denny. I appreciate it, man. Longtime channel member, locals, etc. He says the AK video was maybe my favorite video you have ever done. Well, thanks, man. It was great information. I learned a lot. I'll go run my GF3 tomorrow in Brotherhood, even though I can't be with you guys. Keep up the good work. Dude, sounds like an excuse for you to have a good time, right? So, yeah, that sounds like an awesome idea. Denny's like, I'll do it in Brotherhood, a.k.a. I get an excuse to go blast some, right? That's awesome, dude. I don't know. They've said it before, right, Jeremy Wilson? They've said we look alike. I need to shave. It's actually still like normally I try to grow a little bit of a beard out because it's starting to get cold in November in Michigan. It was like 75 degrees today. Are you kidding me? What's happening, Steve0545? Thanks for being a channel supporter, dude. Tennessee is God's country. Yes. Proud to be a Tennessean. Dude, Tennessee's very pretty. I like Tennessee a lot. I do. I could do without the Nashville gun control laws. Actually, it's funny, though. When I was down there, shoot, it's been about almost 10 years now. They had just passed a law that got rid of those gun ban signs that were all over the city of Nashville. So that's good. You guys could straighten that out. Here's the rub, guys. I probably would love every state all of you guys live in if you put me out in the country. And I would probably be miserable in any big city in any of these 50 states. That's really what it comes down to. I don't like big cities. Doesn't mean I don't like you guys if you live in the city. Like, I can still like you. I just don't feel comfortable in big cities, really, regardless of what state I'm in. Driving through the mountains, though, man, I do like driving through the mountains a lot. You know what else? A pleasant drive when I go to see my friend Marksman TV down there in Westfield, Indiana. I start off in southeastern Michigan. I drive all the way along the bottom of the state, and I go west and west and west. Can't really go any more south. You're just riding right above the old state line. And I go all the way down and just bypass Ohio and go bloop right in there. It's mostly flat, but there's still something beautiful about just seeing cornfields for like hundreds of miles. I like that too. Never been to the Rocky Mountains. Couldn't tell you guys anything about that. Not in real life. I've seen pictures. Beautiful, obviously. Couldn't tell you about those. Couldn't tell you about Hawaii, Alaska. But yeah, I love the mountain part of the South. And once you get down out of Appalachia, I like it too. I like how the ocean looks. I like it where it gets, just even the sand. I live on the Great Lakes. Plenty of water, plenty of sand. But you go down to certain spots of Florida and it's just totally different. Wouldn't want to live there under the gun laws and stuff. But I guarantee you there's super beautiful places in New York. I've been told all about. It's called upstate New York, right? Dale, what's happening, man? Dale Konya says Kentucky girls can cook. Maybe Misty's already answered you by now. Maybe not. I'm not sure. What's happening, Gort? Who you laughing at? Me, guess, or Susan Wiki Wiki? I think she's laughing at Susan. Kamobi says, yes, thanks for being a channel member. He says, going to be windy tomorrow in Michigan. Let's hope all the trees lose their leaves. Usually the oak trees, they hold on a while just to be annoying. But a lot of them are gone. All right, Mateo's getting ready to eat. I need to get off in just a minute, guys. I was going to do an hour stream, but I'm having such a good time. I've kind of stretched it into like an hour and 40 minutes. Oh, Randy says it's no shave November. All right, cool. I just haven't had time to shave all week, but or all 2 weeks or whatever it's been. I've not been through the Sierras. Not that I know of anyways. I've not been west anywhere. Not been west. Mark, what's happening, Mark? He says, I've been watching you for a long time, back when you had long hair coming out of the hat. It's starting to a little bit. My hair's curly. It's muggy and humid in Michigan. I mean, it's always humid in Michigan, but it's actually kind of hot today. Ron Wayne, what's happening, man? Thanks for being a channel supporter. He says, Mrs. Wayne's a great cook. Definitely blessed. Well, obviously. Now we know you're blessed, man. That's awesome. You wouldn't be with her if she wasn't the best, right? And I'm sure it's vice versa, too. That's good, man. Jimmy Dunn, thanks, man. He says, good night. God watch over these fine people. Thank you. That's awesome, man. Thanks for the encouragement. I don't know. What's happening, Jane? How you doing? I think I'm going to see you tomorrow, right? She says the white oaks are nearly bare for the first time ever this time of year. That's usually like almost till the next spring and stuff. I don't know. Terry Brown, yeah, guys, I can't say too much more about it. I'll be violating policy, but I'm telling you guys, it's been a couple days ago now. You'll have to scroll this for a little bit, but that was an awesome deal. That was one that I got excited when I found. I'm like, I hope this helps somebody. Terry says, since you haven't seen it, thanks for the trench gun link. Yes, and it's actually below that. You're talking like the total out to door price with that 300. It's actually less than that on its face. And those are nice guns. I got to see one of those and shoot it in real life down at the PSA The Gathering event. And yeah, if you're in the market for it, if it suits your fancy, like literal bargain. If you guys want to know what I'm talking about, you can join Locals free. I posted it over there. I would love to just post the link in here. Can't do it. Too many trolls, too many people that watch this channel meticulously. I wouldn't get by with it. So, all right, guys, I'm getting ready to get out of here in 1 second. Jeremy says, Grand Rapids, Michigan, going out to vote, brother. That's awesome. I'm telling you, Gretchen and Tuda are in a tie right now. I mean, it's within the margin of error. They're in a tie. So, very important. Good night, Amanda. I'll see you tomorrow for sure. Oh, boy. Band talk. No faster path to a man's heart than through his stomach is probably truer than I'd like to admit. Oh, man. Are you eating good, Band talk? Yeah, you look like you're eating pretty good. He's like, well, you know. All right. JJ Rainey, I will see you tomorrow. He said the OG of Friday Night Live. I will see you tomorrow. I don't know if I'm quite that, but we've been having fun for a while on here on Friday nights. That's for sure. All right. I think I have a couple more chats here, and I am going to roll out. Have a good night, Kurt. I'll see you tomorrow, man. And by the way, guys, there's so many more of you than me. I've missed way more chats than I've been able to read tonight. Usually it would be tomorrow, but it'll probably be more like Sunday or Monday. I'll go through and read all the chat, and that's how I know it's worth coming back to hang out with you guys. So if you left me something that was thoughtful or whatever, I'll get it. I'll get it. So don't think you wasted your time. If you left something not so thoughtful, I might read that too, if I feel like it. All right. Do I have any more chats, Linda? I think she went to bed, which is understandable because she's been cooking all day for tomorrow. Patrick Fowler's with another super chat. Thanks, Patrick. I appreciate you, man. He said, doesn't matter the states you're from. We're all Americans. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that Texas joke, and I know you know this. I saw you kind of ribbing me a little bit, joking around. That Texas thing goes back like 3 years ago when I first started streaming. So it's with much affection, trust me. But I am in Michigan, okay? So not because of Gretchen. But there's some good people around here. Trust me on that. So thanks, Patrick. Walmart deal with another super sticker. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, dude. And a channel member. I wish it would let me post the actual sticker up, but the chat gets to enjoy it. Let me take one more look here. All right. He's got that little bird that's kind of goofy and green looking, giving me the thumbs up. So thanks, Walmart deal. I appreciate it, man. Don Van Ort says, thank you for advocating for the 2A. No problem, dude. I'm going to do it whether people like it or not. So if you guys are on the same page, that's awesome, right? Stephen S., I will see you tomorrow. Good night, man. Definitely looking forward to seeing you. I saw one real quick that I wanted to read, and it just like skipped on me really quickly. Where's it at here? George Washington giving you guys some encouragement for sure. What's up, the reptile guys? How you doing, man? Good night. He says, good night, brother. It was a good one. I enjoyed listening to you. We're all praying for the best. This election could change a lot. Whew. You got that right, don't you? That's all I can really say to that. You got that right. George Washington said, thank you for promoting the rights God bestowed upon us all faithfully, like you do always. Well, thanks, man. I'm glad. Look, Just trying to give you guys some encouragement, just trying to remind you to remind other people. See, so much it's like, well, I'm preaching to the choir. You guys get it. I know you do. Most of you get it probably more than I ever will. But when we talk about this, we're building culture. Maybe the way you would think of saying something or broaching a conversation is better than me 9 out of 10 times. And it probably is. But maybe 1 in 10 things I say, you're like, that might be a good thing to bring up to somebody. It might be a good conversation. Then you put everyone in the chat who's also smart talking to each other. I know, look, guys, I know things look different, but I'm going to give you a real quick little history lesson, but it's to show you what's relevant right now. I'm not a Civil War expert. I'm not at all. And I don't even know if it should be called a Civil War or a Second Revolutionary War. It's something I've been thinking about a lot lately, actually. But there was a time when we had the Civil War, the North versus the South one. Now, that's not even that simple, though. That's what I'm getting at. But just to let you guys know what I'm actually talking about. The Confederate States of America, okay, versus the Union. There was actually a time early on in the war, and this is true, you guys can look it up, where there were people picnicking in a battlefield. Now, what kind of idiot would sit there and get out their picnic basket and set their little checkered, their checkered blanket out and, all right, whatever they would have eaten back in the mid-1800s, peanut butter and jelly, I'm sure, right? No, you'd have to be nuts. Who would do that? Well, that's because the Civil War had started and there were shots being fired. And they were literally like sitting on a battlefield because it had just started and they didn't know it yet. Can you imagine that? Well, I think right now we're actually in a great civil war, but it's not the same. And history sometimes repeats itself, but sometimes it just rhymes. And while the civil war we're in right now, in one hand, it has almost nothing to do with the one in the mid-1800s, but in another hand, it almost has everything exactly to do with what was going on then. It's so much different, but it's so much alike. And this is called a culture war, and we're in it right now. And sometimes it does rear its head with, again, the mostly peaceful protest. Why so many people bought guns. Even if it's a mostly cultural war, there still is violence and bloodshed. And there's lots of violence and bloodshed in this country every day, and there always has been, and there always will be, but you'll see it wax and you'll see it wane. But the pressure and the rhetoric just keeps bumping up more and more and more. And of course, all we ever want to do is be left alone, obviously. And that's awesome to want that. You can want to be left alone, and that's a beautiful thing, and you should want to be left alone. But hopefully we can all stay cognizant to the fact and encourage all of our friends so they stay cognizant to the fact that, but you can't. Because there's evil that's just trying to take this country from us, take our natural right to keep and bear arms, and all of our natural God-given rights. There's so many people trying to take them away. People that, in my opinion, are evil, that we have to keep building culture. And it has to do with elections, but when the politicians don't want to listen, you have to go over their head and you have to go to each other. It's a republic if you can keep it. It's a government instituted among men. Man up. Let people know. It's cool to be an American. It's cool to have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And it's a beautiful thing. And you guys need to, as much as you possibly can, encourage each other, encourage other people about it. It's fine to preach to the choir sometimes because it reminds you that you're not alone and you don't feel despair and you don't feel seclusion because they want you to feel secluded. They don't want you to feel like there's still a tie that binds and that there's other people that do think it's normal to carry a gun, to shoot as much as you want, to exercise your natural rights up to the limit where you don't want to tread on other people's, obviously, but that you'll protect your rights with the government supporting and protecting them, not trying to hinder or put roadblocks or hurdles in place. So if it's a government that's to be instituted among men, we need to step up and we need to go over the government's head. And I didn't invent this saying. The man that did's actually dead now. But politics is downstream from culture. And you guys need to remember that. And while going to the polls is very important, and I suggest that you do, also just talking to people about, no, this is normal. I just hung out with 200 perfectly normal people on a Friday night, and they're good people, and they're kind people. It's just as important. Talking to your children, talking to your nieces, your nephews, your neighbors, your grandchildren. It's all very, very important. And having the courage to keep up the good fight is also very important. And digging in when we have to, and just having fun when we can, talking about how prices are getting better, right? So I know I talked about a lot of stuff tonight that I don't know how congruent my thoughts were, but it seems like it all just goes in a full circle and is related to each other. But yeah, there's some things going on that are really crappy right now, and there's some things that are going on that are really good right now. And let's try to focus on the good things to get some positive energy to try to defeat some of the bad things, right? I'm going to look forward to hanging out with some of you guys literally tomorrow. I'm going to get off here because I still have to get some stuff like loaded up and ready to go. And then for those of you that I can't physically be with tomorrow, I'll miss you, but we'll reunite, and I'm going to get a bunch of stuff recorded so you guys can see some cool guns getting shot on video. I'll be back on YouTube soon with some more content as well as locals. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.